Hello and welcome to Unboxing the Boxes, my Star Wars collection. I am here at Crossroads Mall today, March 22nd, and it's the QuadCon Comic and Toy Fair. Let's go inside and see what's happening. Hello there, I'm Collector Steve, and you know what? I really make a good effort to get to the QuadCon Comic and Toy Show when it comes to St. Cloud, Minnesota. It is the closest thing to a Comic-Con that I am able to attend without traveling over 100 miles or more to get to. And even better, it's free to attend. Over 50 vendors had booths throughout the Crossroads shopping mall. Several of these vendors were selling comic books, including our local comic shop, Granite City Comics and Games, located in St. Cloud, and they were also a sponsor of the QuadCon Comic Show. There were authors on hand promoting their books that they've written, and some of those books looked really good. And of course, there were toys galore. I mean, of course there was science fiction, there was horror, there was Pokemon, and pretty much anything you wanted for toys, you could probably find there. They even had a costume contest where people could come dressed as their favorite characters from their favorite franchises and compete with each other. It was all for fun. It wasn't a huge deal, but it was just a fun thing for people who enjoy their franchise to come and show off what they had for a costume. I thought of putting on that Jedi costume that I bought a couple years ago, but I decided, nah, I'm just going to go and buy stuff. Because of course, with all the toys there, you know what I'm shopping for. I'm shopping for Star Wars. And yes, I did find some pretty good bargains. At least I thought they were decent bargains. So, we're going to take this video and go through this stuff, and you can tell me if I did well or not. Of course, I would like to invite you to hit that like button if you enjoy this kind of content, and subscribe to the channel. It's great seeing the subscriptions climbing over the last couple of weeks. Thank you very much. Now, let me get these bags kind of off to the side, and then we'll go through them bag by bag. Now, while most of the stuff I bought was toys, Star Wars toys, of course, I did find one thing that wasn't Star Wars to buy. In fact, I think this might be maybe the second or third time in my lifetime that I bought something from this franchise. I also found things other than toys, such as some books to find and add to my book collection. The first one we're going to do here is at one of the particular booths, and I forget which booth had what anymore, because it's been a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't mark the bags where they came from. But this one, I was kind of happy to get. And it is from the Star Wars Expanded Universe, an Airspeeder. Several versions of the Incon T-47 Airspeeder, also known as a Snowspeeder, were created before deciding on the definitive model seen in The Empire Strikes Back. This vehicle was designed and built based on several production sketches by artist Ralph McQuire. So that's kind of neat that this is actually from a rendering done by Ralph McQuire. And I hope you were looking at this as I was reading that. I do like that it does come with an exclusive Airspeeder pilot. But this Airspeeder just looks cool. Of course, this is a one-person Airspeeder instead of like the snow speeders from The Empire Strikes Back that carried two people. So of course this is a smaller version of that particular vehicle. And when we look at the back, we can see a couple special features that come along with this particular vehicle. For example, the cockpit opens so that you can put the pilot in, which is to be expected, but it also has assault wings that deploy for attack mode, and it has a belly-mounted launcher that fires a proton torpedo. Pretty cool. Now, as far as the box goes, it looks, I think it's the original tape on here yet, The box is in really good shape, except on the bottom. It got a little bit pushed in. But other than that, not bad. The action figure in there looks like it still has the original tie downs that held it in place. So I'm thinking this one is unopened. The sticker on here says $19.99, and I think that's what I bought it for. I think I actually picked this up at Granite City Comics at their booth there. So kind of happy to add this to the collection. Like I said, I'm not sure if I have this one. This is kind of old. This is from 1997, so almost 30 years ago. Wow, that makes me kind of feel old. Now, along with this, I did buy one thing, and this one does not belong to Star Wars. Nope, the one thing I bought that wasn't Star Wars. Part of another franchise, Battlestar Galactica. I don't have any action figures from Battlestar Galactica. So when I saw this, I thought, you know what? I'm going to get this just for the heck of it. And of course, it is the Cylon Centurion. This is from 1996, so about the same time period as this one. And of course, it has a little light up phaser here, but I push the button, nothing happens, nothing lights up, battery's dead. But I thought it was kind of a cool looking figure, so I thought, what the heck, I'll buy it. So, another one I picked up at one of the booths was a figure that was bubbled, that was in a case. And it happens to be from the Gaming Greats collection, vintage collection number 195, and it is the Electrostaff Purge Trooper. I did not think I had this as part of my collection, and I did not want to pass this up because it is a cool looking character, and I really like the card on the background there. Looking at this thing, I do like the Electrostaff. That is nifty. And I do like the figure. It is a very cool looking figure. I like the little stripes on his leg there. I'm not sure if that actually means something. I'm sure if I played the game Jedi Fallen Order, I would probably know maybe what the meaning of it is. Tell you what, if you know what the meaning of those stripes are, why don't you write it down and let me know? Leave a comment on it. Now, of course, if you've been watching my videos, you know one of the things I love to collect when I can find them at a reasonable price are the comic packs. You know, that's where you get 2 action figures along with the comic book that those action figures were based on. Well, happened to find one here that I am pretty sure I do not have in my collection. And this is from Crimson Empire. We have Kur Kanos and Kanor Jax. Now, I don't ever recall reading this particular book, but it's kind of nice on the back here. It lets us know a little bit about these characters. Trained in the deadly secret art of Enchantry and fanatically devoted to the Emperor, the royal guard from which these 2 men rose was the most feared group of warriors in the Empire. Treacherous usurper of the imperial throne, Kanor Jax betrayed his brothers in the guard and defiled the memory of the Emperor. Great looking characters, don't you think? I love the staffs they come with. And when we look at the back, it does appear that the helmets do come off of these 2 characters. So I could see if I read the comic book and was younger, these would probably be a lot of fun setting up my own adventures and fight scenes against each other. Now, like I said, I like to get these at a reasonable price. I know I'm not going to get them for the original cost, which I would be willing to bet was probably about $15 way back in 2006. Well, this one I happened to pick up for 40 bucks, which by today's standards, I thought was pretty reasonable. Granted, they're not vintage collection figures with the articulation that you get nowadays, but it's still 2 action figures, and if you figure $15 an action figure, well, there we've got 30 bucks already. And then comic books are $5 nowadays, so there's 35 bucks. So 40 bucks, I didn't think was unreasonable for this figure. Not bad. It's not the only one I found. I found a second one here, a little dinged up in the corners and so forth. But this one, I only paid $20 for. And I'm sure because the card is dinged up and so forth, but it's still unopened. The comic book is still in great shape. The action figures are still great. And this time it features characters from the regular comic book series from Dark Horse at that time. And this features Ganner Krieg and Antares Draco. Imperial Knights Antares Draco and Ganner Krieg go on an unauthorized mission to save Marcia Fell, the daughter of Emperor Rowan Fell. The Sith hope to capture the disposed emperor by threatening Sia's life. I didn't collect a whole lot of the Dark Horse comics back then. This is from 2008, by the way, so a couple years newer than that one. So now I'm thinking I'm going to have to go back and get some more of these comic books so I can find out the whole adventure between these two characters and the other people listed in the thing on the back here. But yeah, $40 there and $20 there. Not bad. 2 more comic packs to add to my collection. Thumbs up on that. Now, I believe from the same place that I got these from, I also picked up a few books, including some comic books, because they had a really good sale on them. I think it was like buy one, get one, or buy one, get two, or something like that. There wasn't very many comic books on that table for that price. Most of their comic books were regular priced comic books, but they put a few out there, and some of them were Star Wars. So I decided to pick them up. And I think it might have been buy one, get 3 free. So 4 comic books for the price of 1. One of them I picked up, and this was for $5, was a Dark Horse Star Wars comic book. And this happens to be number 3 of 6 in the storyline of Prelude to the Rebellion. I don't have a whole lot of Dark Horse comic books, so I thought, what the heck, for $5, I could pick one of these up. Now, granted, I got to go find the other 5 books in order to figure out the whole story, but hey, we got a cheap start. I also got another Dark Horse comic book from the Star Wars franchise, and this one happens to be number 5 of 6, Dark Empire. And this one looks pretty good. I kind of like the looks of this one. We're dealing with cloning here, which seems to be a big part of Star Wars since Disney took over. The next one is from the X-Wing comic series. And this book happens to be from the Phantom Affair. 4 books in that storyline, and this happens to be number 3 of the 4 books. So yeah, they didn't have the whole selection out there. I'm basically getting these one at a time out of a story. But like I say, 4 comics for $5. I couldn't pass that up. The last one of the comics is another X-Wing fighter one, The Rebel Opposition. 4 books in this series. This happens to be number 2 of the series. So, didn't think that was bad. 4 comic books for $5. Hey, I'll take that. I also picked up 2 actual books. The first one I picked up for $5. Couldn't pass that up. And this happens to be Star Wars, The Essential Guide to Vehicles and Vessels. The illustrated guide to the high-tech craft of the Star Wars universe. I did not have this book as part of my collection, so there was no way I was going to just bypass this thing, especially for $5. That was too good a price to let it sit there on that table. The last book I picked up was this one. Star Wars, The Essential Guide to Characters. The only detailed, illustrated, comprehensive guide to the major and minor characters of the Star Wars universe. Now, I picked this one up also for $5. And this was regular priced $18 when it first came out on the market way back when. And of course, both of these books are pre-Disney books, which to me makes them a little better. So anyway, I didn't think I did too bad on the book collection here. What do you think? These I'm going to be opening and reading them at some point. Now it's time for some Black Series figures. When I saw this figure sitting on the shelf in one of the booths, I had to stop and take a look at it because I had never seen this one in any store before. And this happens to be Luke Skywalker, Jedi Master, from the sequel trilogy. And this is from the Ahch-To Island. And the nicest thing with this is when we look at the back, this figure comes with a base. And better yet, the cover opens up so you can actually see the figure. And once I saw it, I just had to have it. Especially since the price on it was only $25. That's what you pay for an average Black Series figures nowadays. So obviously the person was anxious to get rid of this. Like I said, it should look pretty sharp when that's put together. Of course, me being an in-the-box collector, probably isn't going to get put together in my house. Now, it doesn't look like it's been opened. It looks like the original tape on here has not been cut, which is nice because it is not mint in box, but very good condition box. We've got a little bit of a tear right here, right at the corner. And the rest of it's not bad. It's a bit scuffed up. That's more than anything. It's just scuffed up. So I thought, hey, I have not seen this in a store anywhere. I want this as part of my collection. And then I wandered around a little more. And at another booth, I found two more that I think were part of this series. The next one here happens to be Rey from Starkiller Base. And from the looks of this one, I got this on clearance for $14. How can you pass that up when you find a Black Series figures for only $14? I thought that was pretty good. Once again, the box is scuffed up a bit. We can see that at the top and especially on the bottom. But the figure looks really good. And once again, it does come with the base for the figure. So I think this is going to look really decent. Unfortunately, we don't have a picture of what the whole thing looks like in the back when it's put together. So the only way you can really figure out what this is go online and find a picture of it or open the box. I don't want to open the box. We're going to keep that one just the way it is. The last one I was able to find is Kylo Ren from Starkiller Base. So it's kind of nice. I have two figures from Starkiller Base. Thumbs up on that one. This one I paid $20 for, so it was a little more expensive than that one. But again, the figure does come with the base, only the base on this one is a much simpler base than the one with Rey. Rey has a pretty elaborate base there. Once again, on the back, just kind of a grayish picture of Kylo Ren. Doesn't really show how it looks outside the box. But like I said, I never saw these in the store. These kind of came out in 2015, at least this one and this one did. So for the price that they were selling them for, they became part of my collection. Now, did I go there with unlimited supply of money? No. I had a specific amount. I had a budget I was going to try to stay within, and I did stay within that budget. You do not see everything here yet. I do have one more thing that I bought, and I almost didn't buy it, but then the guy made me an offer that was just too good to refuse. The last thing I bought before I left the show, before I left Crossroads Shopping Center, I almost didn't buy. But like I said, the guy made me an offer and I broke down and I bought it. Because the reason for it is I couldn't remember if I had it in my collection or not. So of course, when I got home, I had to check, right? But what was this thing I'm talking about? The 12-inch figures of Wedge Antilles and Biggs Dark Lighter. I have a fair number of 12-inch figures. These are from 1998, so quite a while ago. Now, when you open this up, and yes, the front does open, you can see the figures. And yeah, these are great looking figures. 12-inch, you can put a lot of detail into things. But just look at these things. We have cloth uniforms around these figures. Let's face it, these are dolls. We have removable helmets, great details in the uniforms, and pretty good sculpts of the faces. Now, did I have this as part of my collection when I got home? Yes, I did. But like I said, I just couldn't pass it up. The original price he had on here was $40. And I was kind of looking at it hard. I picked it up and looked at it a little bit, and then I put it back. I didn't know if I wanted to spend $40 on these figures because I didn't know if I had it. Then he said, hey, I'll take 30 bucks. That basically made me decide to pick it up. I figured, well, if I do have them, I have two 12-inch action figures for about the same price as a deluxe Black Series figure. And with this one, hey, if I want to get rid of it myself, I can. If I want to open it, I can. And you know me, I'll probably store it away somewhere. The box is actually in really good condition considering it is over 25 years old. Got a little bit of a tear down here, but actually not bad. And when I do look at it, it does not look like it has been opened. I'm not well, maybe I shouldn't say that so fast. It looks like the original tape is here, but it looks like it might have been pulled back here. But I would think to get anything out, you'd probably have to maybe open them both sides. But like I said, I don't care. I've already got one set like this that has never been opened. I bought it in the store on sale. Now I do have a set that I can do something with if I want, or sell it off to another Star Wars collector if I want to. Well, that takes care of all the Star Wars buys from this spring's Quad City Comic and Toy Show. What do you think? Did I do a good job? Let me know in the comments. What are your favorites? I have to say, I am kind of happy that I found the 3 Black Series figures here, but I'm even happier I was able to add a couple more comic packs to my collection. The rest of the stuff was just fun stuff to find. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. It's been nice this past week seeing the numbers slowly rise. Thank you very much for doing that. Well, until next time, may the Force be with you and keep collecting.